Hey everyone, I'm Alicia from Music Blog Yeah, and I'm here with Max from Wolfgang. How you doing today?
Good, thanks. Very well.
Awesome to hear it. So you actually kicked off April by releasing a brand new EP titled the Black River EP. So just tell me a little bit about the EP. I mean, what was the experience like recording that?
Well, actually, the EP is part of an album that we've recorded. We spent the last year and a half writing, and then going into the studio for sort of 4 months with an amazing producer to kind of like make it all sound great. And so these 3 songs off the EP are actually from the album, which we're going to release later this summer.
Oh, that's exciting. Nice.
Yeah.
And what would you say were some of the highlights you had while recording the EP?
Well, we were working with this great producer called Flood, and he's worked with people from like U2 to Depeche Mode to The Killers to kind of Nick Cave, so he's like a real absolute legend. So it was a real honor and pleasure kind of just sort of bathing in his light really, and kind of getting musical direction from him and kind of learning so much from him. But it was kind of intense. It was like a 4-month process of being in the studio, but you're really happy with how everything sounds.
Oh, great. Well, the title of your debut album actually came from Utopia, which you dreamt. So yes, but I was just curious then, how did the title of Black River come to be?
Black River, well that's just, I mean that's not going to be the title of the album itself, it's the title of the single which is on the EP. And actually James, the bass player, he kind of wrote most of the lyrics to that song. But it comes from, I suppose it's like a metaphor of kind of getting lost, you know, in your mid-20s. That's kind of what the song's about, like a friend that he wrote, a friend of his that he wrote that song about. So I suppose that's where that title comes from. But the album title will be something different.
Right, do you have like a working title yet, or it's up in the air?
We've got a good idea. There's a song we've got called Alvar, which in sort of, like in a similar way to Suego Faults is also like a kind of a concept, like a kind of a sort of a made-up name. And so you might call it that.
Very cool. Well, The King and All His Men, one of your latest tracks, is actually another topic that came from one of your dreams. So can we expect anything similar like that coming from the upcoming album? I mean, anything that inspired by your dreams?
Well, like the second album's kind of, it's moved on a bit from the first one in many ways. Like most importantly, the first one I kind of wrote and recorded by myself, and now like it's become like a proper 4-piece band, so everyone's contributing to it. And James, like I said, the bass player, kind of has written some great songs for this album too, so it feels very much more like a group project. And I suppose lyrically and as a concept, it's much more down to earth, whereas the last one was very dreamy and very kind of, very romantic and kind of a bit sort of ethereal kind of feeling, from everything from like the lyrics to the production. And this feels a bit more kind of about like what's real and what's happening to us in our lives at the moment. So yeah, a bit of a shift.
Well, you're on tour currently in anticipation for the release of the record. So just how's this tour going so far? Tonight you're playing the Drake, and then you've been playing other shows with Bastille.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it just depends where we are in America. We started off playing in Texas and have wormed our way up the coast. And the Bastille shows have all gone really well. Bastille obviously doing incredibly well in America at the moment. So those shows are very busy, sold out mostly. I think we've had a really good reaction from their fans, which has been cool, so it's kind of translated. And our own shows, yeah, it just depends. Like some places we can go and, you know, we can sort of sell kind of more tickets, and other places we have to sort of work a bit harder, which is fine because we're used to doing that, and it's kind of fun. It's fun to play like small intimate shows as well, you know.
Yeah, well, in the past you've toured with some pretty big names in the industry, like Coldplay, Metric, and Florence and the Machine. But we were just curious, who would your dream tour be with?
Well, we've been very lucky so far. So I mean, I wouldn't want to. I don't know, like. I mean, I love like old classic kind of musicians, like, you know, people like Peter Gabriel, or like, you know, like imagine going on tour with like Talking Heads or something like that, you know. But I mean, I realistically, I don't know. I mean, we're just happy to play with whoever, really, you know.
Right. And then with festival season coming up, we wanted to ask you one of our kind of signature questions. If you could curate your own festival lineup, where would it take place, and who would be part of the lineup?
Okay, let me think about this for a second. Where would it be? I mean, like anywhere in the world you could have it. God, that's so tough. I mean, just for me personally, just like on a selfish level, I would have it like on some kind of really nice kind of beach in the middle of some kind of, I don't know, Mediterranean kind of nice old city somewhere, you know. Okay. Bit of history, bit of culture, but like a nice kind of blue seas on the coast. Yeah, I'd have it somewhere coastal, and people, I would have it, personally I would have like a mix. I would have like a jazz and classical music as well as kind of bands playing too. Because I have quite kind of varied taste in music, so on a selfish note, I would like to have kind of...
An eclectic festival.
Yeah, like a broad kind of thing, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
And then one thing we wanted to ask, which is a little out there, but say wherever you want, where would you want to go in a time machine?
So many places. I would like to go back to kind of the 1800s for a bit, like for a week maybe. I kind of would like to have lived at the start of the century too, like the 20th century, so the early 1900s. Not too interested in the future. I don't know what it has in store for the human race. I'm not too optimistic, so I think I'd be more nostalgic and go the other way.
Okay. And then we're just at the last question of the interview. So just what would you say is the best part about being in Wolfgang?
I love it. I mean, we get on so well. We're all it's kind of very kind of brotherly, and we always have a laugh on the road. So traveling and playing live is probably like our most sort of fun, the funnest part of being in a band. Yeah, very lucky, and it's just really fun. I couldn't really single out one aspect of it.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thanks to everyone watching at home. Thanks so much to Max for taking the time to speak with us today. And yeah, you just watched our interview with Wolfgang. Bye, everyone.